Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get to that intro. Welcome back to the channel, and if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking, and I appreciate the support. I'm very humbled by it. Pobrecito Ant Hefe, right? But even worse than that, pobrecito for the guy who got shot, allegedly, right? So Ant Hefe, one of the co-hosts of No Jumper, was arrested on a 187. So unfortunate. We're talking about a man who has lived that life. You know, was a member allegedly of the A-Tray Gangster Crips, one of the most notorious groups and gangs out there in South Central Los Angeles. I know. I've done time with some A-Trays, man, and I can pretty much tell you out of all the brothers that I've done time with, the different groups and gangs, man, I have a lot of respect for all the Bloods, man. Oh, Paru! All the Bloods, man, because, man, they were always up short and always putting in the work, kicking up dust, man. The Crips outnumber them massively. Kind of like the Northerners with the Southerners, man, just 30-1 shot, right? But they always handled their business, and I was impressed and had a lot of respect for them dudes. But the A-Tray Gangster Crips, the 60s, all the Rollins, right? All the O's. And the A-Tray Gangsters stood out amongst the rest, man. These dudes were real gangsters. They were not playing. Now, I know you're saying, oh, man, why are you impressed with dudes being gangsters? No, I'm just impressed with how they stood firm in their beliefs, in their stance, and rocked. No matter the numbers, no matter the case, man, they were just about their business. And that was my interactions with A-Trays, you know. People like Mikey Meadows, man, rest in peace, Tiny Solo. You know, people like Evil. You know, these dudes I did time with that I could say, man, were very respectable human beings before anything. And that's just a fact. And anyone who wants to deny that, man, you know, that do you, but I'm going to do me. Ant Hefe was arrested, right? Is it the curse of No Jumper? I mean, I've told you guys several times in several videos, without hatred in my heart for No Jumper, that it just seems like anyone who really associates with them or really sits down at that cursed ass table either blows their hand off, either ends up with Lupe, either gets arrested on a 187, gets RICO indicted, is in the feds, fighting all day. I mean, Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, Big U, Ant Hefe, Crip Mac. I mean, the list can go on and on and on forever, right? There's literally been people that have been torn down and locked up off of going on No Jumper. Now, I'm not going to sit there and blame Adam and say that he's a Fed plant and that it's wired up and that he's working with individuals. But he has told you guys in the past that, hey, if push comes to shove and they start shoving and pushing, he is going to tell on everybody because he's a civilian and he ain't getting caught up in your mess. He wants to hear about your drama. He wants you to tell him all about the crimes you committed while being a gang member. He wants to hear all the juicy details for clickbait, right? He wants to get all them views. But if it comes down to him and you, it's you, not him, brother. And that's just the way it is. And Hefe is just the most recent man to get that Kardashian type curse, right? It's a curse. And at this point, I don't even think anybody could deny it. You know, if you have association or affiliation with No Jumper, you're going to be like Lush, all tirada out, all high. And I mean, so many people have went and failed. I think the only one that got himself, or there's a couple individuals, a few, that got himself up out of that abyss and was able to walk away without scarring tissue and without, you know, their shit blown out would be probably like Duno and Poetic Flacco and maybe Sharp. You know, these guys were able to get up out of there and get away unscathed, so to say. But at Ant Hefe, it wasn't. And it's so unfortunate because Ant Hefe was like a man who did time before, seemed like he was getting his life together, you know, had a lot of business going on outside of No Jumper, but decided that for whatever reason, man, you know, he was going to sit down at the No Jumper podcast and do his thing. And I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at none of those dudes who pull up there. You know, I don't advise it. And I've told people there's some extracurricular activities going on behind the scenes there. But hey, man, I understand that people feel that that's a bridge to doing their own thing. So they're going to utilize it just like Adam's utilizing them. Hey, if he's living off the brow, the sweat of the black and brown man, then hey, they're going to get theirs off the white man as well, brother. Right. And that's just the way it is. Wack is smart enough to understand. And I think his communication skills and things with Adam seem to be right parallel. They're doing their thing together. Right. But Ant Hefe, I don't believe was that type of individual. I believe he honestly had good intentions and was just trying to make his bag and push his own agenda. And unfortunately, man, that's not going to work at No Jumper. You're not going to push your agenda. You're not going to do your own thing. You're going to get cursed. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get cursed like the Kardashian curse. Ask OJ, Cat, right? Ask all of them. Reggie Bush went there and he was Reggie Weeds. He was no longer Reggie Bush. His bush melted. Like you got the curse. They hit him with, the curse is so bad it turns men to women over in that motherfucker, right? It's different. Your whole feminine traits and qualities start coming out. But Ant Hefe was arrested yesterday or the day before yesterday for what is alleged to be a 187. Now, I'm not into giving you guys all the details of exactly what happened and why. Poetic Flacco did that. He released a video a few hours after the arrest and knew the whole story. Now, we know he's tapped in. That's a fact, man. People from California have decided that that's the go-to in the brother community, man. Poetic Flacco, for whatever reason, even though he's not from California, has no association besides being on No Jumper and interviewing a few brothers, man, from California, gang members. But this man has pretty much, he ridicules the gang members in California and talks down upon them. And then at the same time speaks upon their business, right? So it's a trip. You either hate them or love them. But you got to respect the fact that Flacco puts out his videos, and most of the time he has all the details, and that's because people are feeding him the information. He might have even talked to Ant Hefe himself, but Ant Hefe was picked up on the charge of 187. Now, according to what Flacco says, Ant Hefe went out for a midnight Taco Tuesday, right? Ain't nothing wrong with it, man. Them brothers, they done grew up in LA. And man, tacos hit. You feel me? And so, I say it all the time, man. The brothers and the Mexicans, a lot of people, the black and brown community, man, they'll never be cool. They'll never be, but a lot of people appreciate each other's cultures. So that man didn't go out to go get some Popeyes. He didn't go out to go get some collard greens or nothing like that. That man went to go out and get him a taco. I respect him. He's from A-Tray. He grew up around Florencias and 18s and all them cats. He said tacos. So he went to go get to the taco truck. And I've said it over and over and over again. My grandfather taught me a lot of lessons in life, but one of the most exclusive and probably the best advice he ever given me, he said, mijo, never be out past 10 o'clock at night unless you're indoors or you're at a chick's house and getting a mamon, or you went somewhere in particular. Don't just be out floating out and about around, because there's nothing out there good for you. And he's absolutely right, because I've been out past my bedtime several times, and it's the Walking Dead out there. There's people all fented out. There's people trying to scheme, plot, scam. It's just a bad situation on the streets. And, you got all these youngsters and all these credible gangsters saying, oh, I'm on the streets. I'm out here. What are you doing out there besides tweaking, right? Get your ass inside, homie. Be a man. You have children. You have responsibilities. You have bills to pay, right? Take your ass to work. Take your ass home and sleep so you can take your ass to work again, because your kids and your family is depending on you. But whatever, but I understand that Hefe. He went out there past midnight to go to the local taco spot to go get him a little taco. And according to what Poetic Flacco put out, he ran into a Pueblo blood. Now, I did time with Pueblos, and they were about the business, the ones that I associated or ran into in the youth authority and in prison. And no hatred towards the Pueblos. The shit. You see any opposition, man, you're going to get at them. Now, this is 2026. The blooding and the cripping ain't the same as it used to be. Okay, most people, if you're in their neighborhood, they might trip. They might set trip. But a lot of the times, you're going to get a pass. But there are dudes that if they feel that you're flaunting your colors or you're disrespecting them, they're going to hit you up. Most definitely. Doesn't mean they're going to put hands on you or try to assault you or anything like that. They're not going to do the Chud the Builder and bear mace you and shoot you. But they're definitely going to hit you up. And that's just a man being a man, not necessarily a gang member, just a man being a man. It happens all the time, man. But allegedly, according to what Flacco put out, Ant Hefe was at the taco spot ordering, and I guess there's an eyewitness account. The paisa that was working the stand, he witnessed everything, went into shock, I guess. And he sees Ant Hefe pull up, orders his food, and starts having interaction with this guy. Allegedly, according to Flacco, this guy hit Ant Hefe up, and Ant Hefe told him, I'm from A Trade, allegedly. And that dude, I guess he felt some type of way about that, being a blood and all right, and took it back to the 90s, to the old school, like Crip Mac, and decided that he wasn't going to just let that go. So allegedly and accordingly, according to Flacco, Mr. Jala, right? Officer Jala is what they call him, I guess. This dude, Ant, walked back to his car, and the dude kept following him. And I guess, words got to wording, shit got to escalating, and this man allegedly reached in his pocket. Now, it was probably for a cell phone, because he probably was going to record the incident and altercation. A lot of people are quick to pull cell phones now because what they want, the whole game plan nowadays, see, back in the days, you whip it out, boom, I'm gone, right? But nowadays, it's pull out the phone, record you belittling or talking to someone that definitely doesn't want that smoke. I'm not saying that Hefe is no punk on no level, but he's a grown man with responsibilities and a job and friends and family. And I'm sure, man, he's above and beyond that. At this point in his life, is like, man, I'm not going to fight you over a taco, bro. I'm not going to fight you over a game. I'm from here. You're from there. Respects. Let me get on, do it pushing. I got to get back to my kids and my family, right? And maybe this was a youngster, maybe not. But he lost his life, because of the things he did. And so allegedly, maybe he was reaching for a phone. Now, I'm sure they're going to say he was trying to reach for a firearm, a pistol, a Billy Western, according to Adam, right? And all that. And, Ant Hefe had it on him, I guess, right? And decided he felt he had to whip out. And the end of that story was the dude from Pueblos lost his life, right? Something that could easily have been avoided by not hitting a guy up, not disrespecting him, not worried about where he's from. But I understand it. It's part of, I guess, the pride and being a man and being a gang member. So, if you live by that, you're going to die by that. And, the thing nowadays is people want to pull out their phones and they want to talk shit to you and disrespect you when you're just trying to do your own thing. And, the builder shit. Pull the phone out, disrespect people, and try to get a reaction. And I believe that that's what that guy might have been doing, or he could have had a pistol on him. Like I said, whatever Ant Hefe felt he had to do, he did. And he was picked up on the charges of 187. And so now he's incarcerated in the LA County jail. And it's unfortunate, man. Someone who had their shit together and was living life. And it's crazy because, I know a lot of people out there that watch my channel, they don't believe in conspiracies. You guys, a lot of you guys have done time. A lot of you guys been around. A lot of you guys watch me for whatever reason, whether it's to laugh, for entertainment, to get some games, some knowledge you can't get in college. Guard! Whatever it may be, right? And I'm not going to say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I believe in a lot of shit that people don't, right? And it's funny how you could speak someone's name and then all of a sudden you see their name, right? It's kind of like when you're cruising, man, and you're like, damn, man, I was looking at the Homeboys Impala, and then all of a sudden you see Impalas everywhere. Shit like that. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a deja vu, fucking, I seen it, AI moment type shit, right? So it's funny because with my boxing match coming up and myself and Chill working behind the scenes to make it happen, he actually expressed to me, he was like, man, I'm going to get at the homie Ant Hefe, which is a friend of his, or their associates, right? I'm going to get at my boy Ant Hefe and try to line some shit up through No Jumper to get at this certain individual, to get at that individual. We're going to make something happen. That was his connection to making something happen. And I told him, I don't fuck with Adam. So I didn't really want nothing to do with Adam just because I don't trust that motherfucker. I don't want to get the curse, right? Last thing I want in a boxing match is to go in there with a fucking curse. But I believed in what Chill was trying to do. I understood, he has peoples, and that was that. And so I hadn't watched No Jumper in a long time. I didn't know what was going on with Ant Hefe, that he had stepped away from the podcast for a minute. I didn't know what was going on, but his name was mentioned in the context of that text, right? And sure enough, a couple days later, here's this man locked up on a 187 case, right? So it's crazy that when you start hearing names and all of a sudden you start seeing shit, and I just thought in particular I would express that because it was crazy. Now, what's weird to me is that Flacco knows all the details. but he always does, right? He knows everything because people, like I said, feed him information because they want to hear his opinion. I'm a firm believer in whatever you say on the internet and what you do, you have to watch out. It's all the proof is in the pudding. It's all going to come out eventually, right? And if it's an ongoing active case, man, Poetic Flacco just gave the detectives all the details. He made sure that they know that it was gang related. He made sure that they knew that this guy followed Ant Hefe and that, Ant Hefe expressed where he was from. Like a lot of things he said could have went unspoken. You could have did your video about, him catching the case without all the details, because now that gives the detectives an opportunity to hit this man with a gang enhancement on top of whatever other charges he's got. Now, there's a lot of people like, oh, he's done. It's a wrap. He's going to do life. Based upon the case factors, based upon the mitigating factors, based upon his record, which we know he has one and all that, it's different for everybody. That's kind of like the Chud the Builder case, and people are making it in comparison to that kid, Carmelo Anthony, that killed that kid with the knife. People are, oh, why did he get more time? There's different case factors into everything, different crime, everyone got a different jacket. Everyone got different, different charges. So things are going to play out in different states, different rules and regulations. Things play out differently for everybody. You're not going to get locked up with a homeboy and do the exact same time that he did. You may and you may not. You might have a worse record than he does, or he might have a worse record than you, or he might have a better lawyer, or the district attorney is pushing more on you because you just make him mad, right? It is what it is. But as far as this man doing life on this case, I highly doubt it. I think he'll catch a manslaughter eventually. It'll be reduced down to a manslaughter. And I believe he'll do 10 to 12 years. Hopefully he doesn't get a gang enhancement, because I don't truly believe on his part it was gang related. I believe it was more of trying to secure your life. Maybe he felt that man was approaching him with vicious intentions, because according to Flacco, that man hit Ant up. Ant didn't hit him up. Now, what's unfortunate and what's crazy to me, man, is you guys all know how Adam rolls, right? And, Adam's sitting down with these guys. You would think that he would befriend these guys. You would think that behind the scenes, they'd go out to eat, have conversations, become more than associates and acquaintances. You got these men working for you. I've worked in a lot of shops, metal shops, and we all become good friends, like brothers, right? So you would think Adam would with his revolving door, I guess, maybe that's his fucking reasoning why he doesn't, but that he would be good friends with these guys, or at least know their families, have met their peoples, and feel some type of way. But Adam was totally shocked. And the first words that came out of his mouth, of course, was, oh, I didn't know Ant Hefe was still living that life. I'm shocked to find out he was still living that life. What life are you talking about? The human life where you go get a taco at night? He's just living a regular life. Look, you can't sit there and bring ex-gang members or current gang members onto your podcast because of the credibility they have on the streets, because that's going to give you some type of street cred or make your podcast better, because all you want to talk about is gangs and groups and organizations. And then when they get caught up in a situation, quick to blame that, especially when someone's changed, their past has changed. So I thought it was pretty chicken shit and bullshit of Adam, again, to sit there and say, I didn't know he was still involved in that life. Stop it. You know everything. You wouldn't have brought him in if you didn't know his past and what he was involved in. That's just the facts, right? But for those running around, creating this narrative that Ant Hefe was super gangbanger and he was going behind the scenes doing this, I highly doubt that, man. I think he was a real one, and he still is a real one. And now he's going to have to go do real one activities, because he's going to be placed, in the LA County Jail in the modules with his peoples, fade zone, where you got to take the fades, you got to do this, you got to do that. And it's just crazy, man. That's why I tell people, anything you do in life, when you wake up in the morning, man, stay on your shit, because you could wake up comfortable in your bed like, man, I'm going to have a great day today. I'm going to go get me something to eat. I'm going to go get my mom from a bad one. Man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it doesn't work out that way. Case in point, I'm going to tell you guys something. Yesterday, I was on my way to get some gas, go pick up my kid from school, just doing my thing. I had to hit the store. I'm out in traffic because I'm out there like that. I'm not fucking PC'd up in my office, right? Like haters say I am. I got to get up and get out and get somewhere. I was broad daylight, and I'm at a stoplight. And there's a vehicle in front of me, and I guess a vehicle behind me. I'm not even tripping off who's behind me. I was lacking, right? But I just was in my own zone. And there was buses and vans and shit parked on the side of the road under an overpass. And so as the light turns green, this car takes off. I take off behind it. I'm probably a couple car lengths behind. And it's an Asian lady, an older Asian lady. And I don't know why, but she just fucking stops. Dead stops in the middle of the road. And I have to brake quick because she just fucking just stop moving. I'm like, what the fuck? I honk like, bitch, right? What are you doing? And she's like, I don't know what she was doing. She was having a panic attack. She was nervous, whatever. But she decided, oh shit. She tried to pull over on the side, but there was a whole bunch of cars right. She couldn't. So she realized what she did and just took off hella fast because she's embarrassed, right? And so I'm just fucking, you know, I'm on go now. So I'm just driving and I see this dude speed up. He was behind me. And I look, he's a young Southerner. He got the blue rag hanging, man, all blasted back, bald, fucking gangster out. And he rolls his window down hella quick, right? So I roll my shit down because I already know. He's like, hey, I said, why you brake check me? I said, man, that's that stupid bitch right there. And he looks, because I ain't got time for this. I got to go pick up my kid and get some gas, man. I'm not going to gangbang, bro. You're not going to. And I understood it wasn't his bad either because he was just doing some man shit, right? And he's seen, and then he was like, oh, my bad, homie, because I have a truck and he couldn't see past my truck that there was a vehicle in front. He thought I just stopped, right? The thing is this, that could have escalated into something crazy. If I wanted to feel like I was being disrespected, like, hey, homie, why you trying to check me anyways? And usually that's how it goes, right? He's wrong, I'm wrong. But imagine this, if the scenario played out different. Imagine if he pulls up and I got the Billy Western or something like that, which I don't carry because I'm an ex-convict, for the record, right? But say I have that, and he has that, and he pulls up. He's like, "Hey, so why you brake check me?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, fuck you, fool," you know. And I don't explain exactly what happened, and he gets to let loose, or I get to let loose, or whatever. There could be a man doing life, or two men dead, or just one, all because some old Asian lady had a panic attack. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Anything can happen at any time. So for the people running around talking about, oh, Ant Hefe, man, you know, Adam, I didn't know he was still living that life. Yeah, I didn't know your old lady was still fucking black dudes, but she is, right? Stop. On Paru, right? This is what it is, man. But ultimately, I think, man, he's going to see all right. I think Ant Hefe it'll get reduced down to a manslaughter because obviously it wasn't premeditated. He didn't go there with the intentions of taking someone's life. It just happened in the heat of the battle, right? And it's not a good look, man. It's unfortunate for that dude's family. It's unfortunate for Ant Hefe's family and him. But this is the life we live. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think, man. I'm just giving you guys some knowledge you can't get in college. My opinion on things. That's how I feel. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors in Turlock, California. If you're in Turlock or in the surrounding areas, pull up to the Barrio and get you something cold to drink. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service in Tucson, Arizona, man. Make sure you Google Sticks and Stones so he can give you a quote and an estimate and he can come hook you up, man, on the low. This is the gun. I got to go.